You've probably heard of this song before, Stan by Eminem, but the real reason behind this video is, what is a stan? The term stan is used to refer to someone who is very enthusiastic and dedicated fan of a particular celebrity, musician or public figure. But that's not quite the definition of it. The literal meaning of stan is the word stalker and fan put together, and it literally makes the term. So today we're going to go into the reasons behind, one, you shouldn't be a stan, and two, don't become one. I just feel like people don't actually listen to the song, like the lyrics, etc., too particularly well, and to say like, oh yeah, I'm a fan, I'm a dedicated fan. Nah, you're just a freak.
I drank a fifth of vodka. You dare me to drive?
I won't go into too much detail because 99% of the population probably knows about Stan by Eminem, but unless you're an alien, I'm going to summarize it for you. The song's about a guy called Stanley Mitchell, aka Stan, who claims to be Eminem's biggest fan. Stan is extremely obsessed with Eminem, to even be a die-hard fan and try to look like him. But he's so obsessed, he keeps sending these letters to Eminem just to be noticed. With all the pictures on the wall, you can really tell he's got a bit of a problem. In the meantime, Eminem is reading these letters and being confused and just telling this guy that he just needs some help. It cuts back to Stan in the car with his pregnant girlfriend. With Stan being absolutely off his head, he turns the wrong way, going off the bridge, killing him and his pregnant girlfriend. While this is going on, Eminem is actually writing a letter back to Stan. He says to him, look, I wouldn't want you to get in a lot of trouble or hurt yourself. And he explains the other week when this guy was very drunk, he drove his car over a bridge, killing his girlfriend in the trunk. He was pregnant with his own child, and when they found the tape, they didn't say who it was, but then he connects the dots, and actually it was Stan. The fact that this guy got so insane, obsessed over this one person that didn't even know him, that he just ends up killing himself. But not just killing him, but also his pregnant girlfriend as well. And to be honest, I don't want to see a die-hard fan go out the same way as our boy Stanley Mitchell, because even the fact that Stan died, it wasn't just him who was affected, it was also his pregnant girlfriend, his mum, and even his own brother. Like, don't get me wrong, this is a very classic Eminem story, and it's quite depressing, but the meaning behind it, it should be all there, but people just don't listen. Like, this is the point of why he wrote the song. Stan Twitter or Stan X, but to me it kind of sounds like a weird porno. Like, imagine Stan on Wattpad in, I don't know, 2013 making weird fan fiction about them both. What? Stan Twitter is like a collective of individuals or groups who just kind of go at people for no reason. For example, let's say I went on Twitter and said, hey, Travis Scott's Utopia wasn't the best album. I'd probably get comments of, how dare you kill yourself? Like, as if you're not allowed to have an opinion. It's not like I'm baiting. I'm just saying, you know, it's not my cup of tea, mate. But no, do you think I'll get the end of it? No way. The groups, the individuals come along, just absolutely rampacking you if you dare go against their glorious leader who don't know you, by the way.
Well, actually, he does know who I am. I commented on every single one of his videos.
Still not gonna know you, mate. You might have liked your post, but you ain't your bestie boo Travis Scott. Like, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm a little bit older that I don't react that way. But then you do see some mums who really defend like R. Kelly, and you're like, oh. And even going back to the kids, maybe they don't have a mother figure, father figure, or any figure at all. Nah, you can't say that, mate. Just a skinny legend. And I'll just say, hand on my heart, I think it's absolutely messed up that people will go that further just to do something like that. Like, it's just weird having an obsession over one thing. You know, you never know if there's like any undocumented suicides and people making them absolutely hate themselves over just one little opinion. I think it's mostly down to the fact that people don't have any consequences for their actions. You have this beautiful barrier where you can say all this shit and just delete your account or turn off your computer because no one's going to come back at you and, quote, teach you a lesson. Maybe I'll put my brain in one of these toxic fan stan people and think maybe they just get bullied somewhere and then they have to release this anger at someone else that's just built up all day. It's pretty toxic. You know, it's a cycle that will continue. So if you are like this, break the cycle, hey? But, you know, hold your horses. It's not just Twitter. You know, Facebook, like I spoke about earlier, Instagram, TikTok, you know, it's not good out there, man. It just seems very pre-programmed in an individual. Just go at someone straight away if they say even one little thing that's negative. What I see a lot on, especially with hip-hop forums, is if you don't say that, I don't know, Eminem's not in your top 5 or Nas or Tupac, they really just go at you and say, you don't know anything about hip-hop, blah, 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 blah. You're either a 15-year-old lad or you're a 45-year-old man. And my opinion stands for both of you. Stop being a bloody weirdo. Also, you don't need to say say the same top 5 just to get everyone to respect you, because guess what? Sometimes not in your top 5. And if they're not, people are like,
I can't believe it, you don't know anything about hip hop.
and the whole world goes insane. Personally, I think the worst I've ever seen it, especially on the internet, was the whole Dream SMP and Dream, where the fans would legit just dox people, really be horrible, and even to their own members if they're out of line. Like, I think one of them went at Tommy and its mother. Like, that's so weird to start going at family members purely because of something that's fiction and they having a go at them. It's very strange. And to summarize both of them up, you can kind of tell it's a very narrow-minded view. They have to say everything in this line and this script, and if you come out of the script and try and be more yourself, you just can't do that, and they have a go at you. I find it strange that for people who are so opinionated, you can't have your own opinion. But then again, why would you do something good when you can do something bad and it'll be promoted? Like, you know, nothing's ever good on the news, is it? They always promote and polarize the bad stuff. So why be the good guy when you could be a bad guy and be actually noticed? And when they are noticed, they're over the moon, like,
Yes, finally I've been noticed.
for the bad things. You really think they like you that way? Parasocial relationships are becoming very, very common these days. But what is it? Well, it's a one-sided relationship that is formed when one party extends energy, interest, and time, and the other person doesn't even know they exist. Where everything is just one step away from a Google search, you can know what they had yesterday for dinner, you can see what they did on Instagram, and where you're following their life, you feel like you're their like best friend in the world. This emotional relationship is then built up, and if anyone starts being negative or says anything disrespectful, of course you're going to go against them because they're basically your friend, because you know everything about them. The point now where some artists, like I've seen like J. Cole, go, my fans know me more than I know myself. Basically like a Nardwuar interview or something. And the issue with this is when they go to meet the artist, they're disappointed. Like, why are you not the person that I've painted the picture in the head? Why are you so weird and off? Like, shouldn't you always be this happy individual? And they don't seem as like more of a human, more like a robot or an actor type thing. Have you ever met an artist and you've gone, you don't look like how you do in the photos? Well, of course not, because they've had stuff done to them, it's been edited, and it does weird you out when you meet them for the first time. The thing is, this artist doesn't even know who you are, but you know so much about them as if you're their bestie. And if you think about it, it's quite stalker material, isn't it? Like, if someone knows so much about you, but you don't know anything about them. Personally, I think the worst I've ever seen it, I think it was with Corp's husband, where they would be messaging him going, oh, he's got a bit of anxiety today, that's why he's like that on stream. I just find that super weird that you would assume that, or, you know, maybe because I've got so many people watching them, they're all under pressure, like it's a normal human thing to do. The shit's creepy, man. It's very down to just attachment issues with the individual. I think if you get into a point where you feel like you are getting a bit obsessive over one person, that's all you think about, maybe take a step back, because that's no different to being in a relationship or being a best friend with someone, because the minute they switch or you're not a fan of them, then you become very negative about that person. And for now in your head, it's going to be perfect, perfect, perfect. They do everything correct. I'm the bad person. It can be a lot of self-doubt that comes with it as well. And they do say, you know, you should never meet your role models. And you do see a lot when people are like, oh, I met my role model when they just weren't how I thought they were going to be. Of course not. You only see that one little snapshot in their life. You're not with them 24/7 like you think you do. Let's be stereotypical right now. Think of the average Taylor Swift fan. Think of the average Eminem fan. And probably 99% of those are pretty negative. Is it because of the individual, or is it the fan themselves? And that is what it's down to at the end of the day. And generally, the only fandom I ever come across which are nice is probably No Man's Sky, which is very rare and very welcoming at the same time. The general problem with artists nowadays is that they're all associated with their fans and not actually themselves. I think the best way to explain this is that Curve 3 People meme. As you can see from the first bloke, he's just listening to the singles, the greatest hits album, and you know, he's starting to get into the artist. Then at the top bloke's like, you know, I've listened to him for 4 hours all my whole life. I've done every album. I refuse to listen to any artist. I would even sell my left kidney to see them. And basically tries to look like them, like a Wish version. And then back at the bottom, you've got the old listener who's listened to all the albums enough that he knows all the words, but it's starting to come a little bit dull. Merch is quite cringe, but loves the artist and separates the art from the artist. And I think personally for me, I kind of go from the first to the last pretty quickly, because I try and do like an album every 2 weeks. And personally, maybe I felt victim of the top one, where, you know, I did have that Eminem phase where I wanted to just be like him. But was I terrible? No, I just kind of wanted to wear a t-shirt like him and dye my hair, but my parents were like, nope, because you'll look stupid. So I never did. Maybe it's the parents' fault that they encourage this. I don't know. It's just food for thought. I just hope this video itself is a bit of an eye-opener, but you know, I could be wrong at the end of the day. Maybe this is the best person in the world and everyone else is wrong. But I kind of seen the same thing with like the heavy metal fans hating hip-hop, and then the hip-hop fans hating pop, and then the pop fans hating heavy metal. It's a kind of a cycle that just keeps continuing. But you can just like all of them at once. I just find that weird. You got to put yourself into this little box. And for some people, you know, it's strange how they can't listen to an artist because they feel like they're going to look like them type of people. Like, you don't need to dress up in like, I don't know, emo, skinny jeans to listen to like My Chemical Romance, because some of their stuff is fire. Same thing with Robbie Williams. Like, after a few bevs, who isn't going to start singing Angels by Robbie Williams at the top of their lungs? Folklore, which I've stated before, which is an amazing album by Taylor Swift, was rated not very good by Pitchfork by a senior editor called Gillian Mapes. Pitchfork is notoriously known to give the weirdest ratings ever. Let's pause this case study for a game of is it higher than Peppa Pig's Adventures, the album by Peppa Pig? Okay, quiet down, quiet down. Welcome to Is It Higher Than Peppa Pig's Adventures by Peppa Pig. According to Pitchfork, this album is rated at a lovely 6.5. So question 1, what is higher, the Peppa Pig album or Donda by Kanye West? And the answer is Peppa Pig's Adventures. As you can see, Donda only got a 6.0. Okay, on to the next question. Question 2, what is higher, the Peppa Pig album or Daft Punk Discovery? It's a tricky one, but the answer is Peppa Pig's Adventures. The Daft Punk album is coming in at a 6.4. So you got them all wrong so far? Well, let's see on the final question. What is higher, Peppa Pig's album or Man on the Moon by Kid Cudi? And the answer is Peppa Pig's Adventures. Come back with us next week, where the question is, what is higher, Peppa Pig's Adventures or Eminem's Recovery? We'll see you on next week's show. Goodbye. At rated 5.2 for this album. Yes, it's probably understandable why some fans got a little bit mad, but no, actually, it's an 8.0, which is rated very high, especially for a Pitchfork rated album. Before I even looked at the score, the way that they were writing about it in the hate comments, I generally thought it was this low. But then when I saw it was actually an 8.0, I was like, what? And our girl Gillian did receive a lot of hate comments, doxing, phone calls at 2 a.m. saying they were going to kill her over a rated album of 8.0. Like, God forbid it was any lower. I couldn't specifically find the quote, but I did read that one of them just says, "You're an ugly fat bitch who's clearly jealous of Taylor." Like, what? I feel like when people have a passion for things nowadays, it becomes so passionate, it becomes negative at this rate more than a positive. Even relating back to the song Stand by Eminem, he's warning people not to be like this, and he's shoving it in your face, and you're still not listening. I understand Eminem's very controversial, a lot of people don't agree with his music, but we can all agree on this one song. Like, please, he has the most deepest meaning, and I feel like maybe you haven't listened to it enough. So to conclude all the yapping I've made, should you be a super fan of someone? Should you be a fan of someone and really like them? Yes. But should you take it further and start upsetting people? No, you shouldn't. And if you feel like you're in a very negative space with life or just in general, try to find a way out and listen to other types of music. Maybe watch a different film. Maybe just try and learn a new skill, because you don't want to end up like our boy Stanley Mitchell. Even the best thing about all this is that Eminem is actually to produce a Stans documentary on the world of super fans, and it's coming soon, so even he is sick of it. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video and, you know, shed some light on some different topics. But yeah, it's been your boy ShvrkBait, and like, comment, subscribe. That would be great. Bye bye bye.